welcome to the 3 to Our Way podcast, a weekly 1-hour conversation about sports, television, film, music, and current events. Real live, no sites. Hosted by childhood friends Sherm the Barber, Substantial, and CHIKA'S. 3 to Our Way is as humorous as it is informative. We bring our odd perspectives on odd stories to you via YouTube and all podcast platforms. Our weekly show is pre-recorded, but you can catch us live on the first Sunday of every month. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now let's get to it.
What it is, what it do, how you be. Welcome back to another episode of 3 to Our Way podcast.
The hell is this dude doing?
Sherm the Barber. I don't know what the guy at the bottom of the screen is doing. I don't know what show he's a part of, but apparently Substantial is in another world. What up, man? And we got also, let me not forget, Big J Cash in the building. How y'all fellas doing?
Big J Cash, I like that.
Why he get big? You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, I don't know what you want me to say to that.
I mean, I was like, I get the big Substantial. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my name was enough by itself. You know
there you go, man. There you go. You already got a moniker.
Right, there you go. Yeah. How y'all feeling, man?
I'm good.
Oh man, I am good. I hope you all are good as well. How are your weekends?
Excellence. Wonderful.
Can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Oh, wait, before we go any further, before you all go any further, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you want to support further, you can also visit our Patreon account at patreon.com. And yeah, now on to the shenanigans.
Yes,
So, anybody got anything special? Because before I go, because I'm probably going to talk for a second, because I had a pretty awesome Sunday.
You got beer?
I do.
You do.
I'm going first for the intro.
Yes, sir.
All right. So first of all, my weekend was fucking awesome because it was 60 degrees today here in the DMV, and I got to ride my interdimensional warp machine, aka my bicycle. Fucking awesome. I did 27 plus miles today down in Indian Head, Maryland at the Indian Head Rail Trail. I love it. It's a straight up and back trail. And I found a new, I'm not going to do this all the time, but I found the brass tap, which is kind of on my way out of the my bike trip. So that is a black-owned bar and restaurant. I forgot what you call it when it's because it's not a brewery, but they got a bunch of beers, and I forgot what you call it. That's why I paused for a second. But I found a different black is beautiful this time. So I went to a black business and found a black beer, which is fucking awesome. So I burnt myself. So I'm super generic today. Nothing special. Like nothing.
What the fuck is that?
Huh? Yeah, no, it's not
serious right now. You got an old mason jar.
So
put some liquid in that bitch.
Huh?
You got an old mason jar and put some liquid in that bitch.
That is a growler, is what it is correctly referred to as, and that's how you get your beer to go when you go to a restaurant that serves a lot of different types of craft beers, my friend. So yeah, I got this.
This restaurant got 4 walls?
Yeah, man. It's a nice restaurant, man. Apparently it has good food.
Where the labels at? You ain't got exactly. Kevin early said moonshine.
Look, man, it was at the harbor. It was at the National Harbor. First of all, let me get to my damn beer, man. This dude, shut up, man. Let me get him a beer. So I got the Black is Beautiful. This is a black IPA, which is a pretty interesting taste. It's so it's an IPA, which is it's I don't know if it's a stout mixed with it, but it tastes like a stout and an IPA mixed together, and it's fantastic. It's got like a lot of caramel notes, and then you got a lot like it's like these fruity undertones from from the IPA. Like it's a really interesting taste experience. I like it. So yeah, that's
but it has no label on it. And the restaurant ain't got no doors.
It has a label at the restaurant on the spout, man.
How you walk out with that joint, man? I'm sorry.
In my hand. Like a liquor store, man. Looked like looked like I was carrying the 32 out, man.
You sure nobody walked you in the parking lot and popped the trunk or something like that? Ain't got no labels on it.
What did you do for this weekend, man? What interesting did you do, man?
I went skiing, to be honest with you now. How about that?
Skating?
Skiing, bro. I got my ski on. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which one to the Poconos or something?
Pennsylvania. I don't know where I was. I was there for the ride. Had fun though.
That's good, man.
Had fun though. Yeah, I know. So Stan,
that's what's up.
If you're not buying alcohol out the back of somebody's trunk or skiing, what you do?
Oh man, I'm trying to support black businesses, and here you go. Oh man!
I mean, I want to support black. I want to support black businesses too, but they got to have a label on this shit. Damn!
It's a growler. It's a to-go container, and it's actually so they have two different types of growler. I opted out of the second growler because I did not want to pay the substantial price that came along with said growler.
Oh,
so that is why I have the generic growler ass hat.
So one they sell out the back of a U-Haul, the other they sell out the back of a trunk. That's what you opted for the one out the back of the trunk.
Man,
what did you do this weekend, man?
Yeah, man, my weekend was good. Just chill with the family, work on music, you know what I mean, the usual. I guess caught up with the in NY. But yeah, man, I probably in New York. I didn't go to New York, but like Shell does bi-weekly family meetings with the family up there. So, you know, that's always dope.
How they doing, man?
They're all right, man.
Mom's doing
okay? Say again?
Mom's doing okay?
Yeah, Shell Mom's is good. Shell Mom's is down here. She did have a little, like a mild little situation this weekend, but she good. And the family's dealing with a tough situation. I ain't gonna put everybody's business out there like that, but like there's some tough stuff going on in New York right now with some of the family. So,
gotcha.
You know, everybody doing the best they can with what they got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, on a music note, stuff is definitely on the up and up. Just you know, we've been kind of dealing with the situation with PUBG Mobile, where I did a song for that game, and it came out like 4 days ago, and the joint has been going viral, man. It's over 15 million views so far.
It was hot. I like the song, man. Good job.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's always interesting, you know, doing that type of stuff. Because it's very much like being put in a box working on that type of stuff, because you know you're limited in terms of like, you know, what you can talk about and what words you can use to talk about what you're doing based on the game and based on who the song is targeting, and then sometimes based on where the company is from too, you know what I mean? So like that's something I know the film industry deals with a lot when they're working with Chinese theaters and the Chinese government and stuff. So yeah, it's been a really interesting joint. The downside of the situation is these dudes didn't put me in the credit, so that was kind of lame. But yeah, so
why is that?
Yeah, we're trying to get it resolved. We just think it's some fluke stuff, hopefully. So hopefully it'll be resolved in the next couple days. Because you know, put it in perspective, the video has like 15.1 million views right now. To put it in perspective, that's half the number of views that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak have. Okay. And this video came out 4 days ago. So, you know, that's a big deal. And for people who don't understand how this works, like my name being in there and being visible when people come to see the video, that can do a lot for a person's career. So, definitely hoping they fix it before the hype dies down while it's still viral. So fingers crossed. Shout out to the fans who've been real vocal in the comments, letting everybody know and answering the questions, because people keep asking who's the person on the song and what the song is called. So like, it's a good sign, man. People like it. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the comments though. We got Early Bird up in here, Ice Killer's up in here.
What up?
This is also up in here. Ice Killer want to know where he can find the video. If you just search PUBG Mobile, The Growth. If you search that, it's the first video that comes up. But yeah, man, that's it. You know what I mean?
So yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
First up the bat tonight.
Yes, sir.
And first up, we got some music this week. We got some pretty damn good music this week too.
Mm-hmm.
The homie Chika, first and foremost, released an EP called Once Upon a Time, which is pretty damn dope. I have not looked anything up about it as far as what the inspiration was. Apparently, obviously, well, not obviously, because you don't know anything about the track listing, but it is the concept is fairy tales and the absence of color in fairy tales. The standout tracks to me, and I'm gonna keep it in classic 3 to I way fashion, and it's a short EP, so it's not it wasn't really that difficult choosing 5 songs from this particular EP, but Fairy Tales is my absolute favorite. That is a song featuring BJ the Chicago Kid. It is super dope. It's got that it's definitely got that Chicago feel to it. She's from Alabama, but I guess she was heavily influenced by BJ on this attempt, but it's a really dope song. The next standout track is Cinderella Part 1. And I love that joint. It's obviously she flipped Cinderella on his head, and it's like it's like, just because it's us, it's so much doper than the regular Cinderella story. Like I'm obviously biased, but I'm gonna just go ahead and go with that. The last one, the standout would be Hickory Dickory, and all of these songs they definitely are about the fairy tale that they are named after. Well, of course, the first one isn't called named after a fairy tale, but it's called Fairy Tales, and it addresses the lack of, like I said, color in the in fairy tales. But she flips them on their head. Like Hickory Dickory is kind of like, it talks about it being her time and how she's hustled, and in order for it to be her time, and she's going to take advantage of it being her time. Have either one of you heard this project yet, by any chance?
No, I haven't heard it yet, but she's amazing. Her last project was fire. The single she dropped prior to that was fire. She kills everything I've heard her on. In the Tiny Desk joint she did, fire. Yeah, so
she's just as dope a singer as she is an MC as well.
Yes, and she got great production as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's already in the queue, man. It's I can't wait.
Unfortunately, you might not be able to listen to it with Dezu, but I think Serenity would enjoy it because it's got a little bit of language to it.
Right.
But you definitely got to let Serenity hear. Like she, especially Cinderella, she'll love that joint.
That's what's up. Yeah, it's I'm definitely gonna put it in rotation this week for sure, man. I would say, man, I think it hit me the other day why I've been falling so behind on music, and it's because we don't drive that often. Like I think we over here we probably go out like maybe twice a week. We do go out to walk and different things like that and get around the neighborhood that way, but like I mean, like probably twice a week driving, and that's where like I listen to probably 80 to 90% of the music I would listen to in the past is like in the car. So in the house I'm working on music. So yeah, we definitely got to get caught up on her stuff because she fire.
Yeah, she is super dope. Super dope. But the next project I heard this weekend was Soul Glow by my man Uno Hype, a local artist from Gaithersburg, Maryland. And this project, I've been waiting for this joint because we did I forgot what episode it was, but we actually talked about some of his singles before.
That's the dude I was talking about.
Oh, okay, Uno Hype, yeah. We talked about him before. It was before January because I remember saying that Soul Glow was supposed to be out in January, but obviously it got pushed back. Just got released last week. What is release day? Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's Fridays.
Okay,
Fridays
lately it's Fridays
nowadays.
So either Tuesday or Friday of last week it was released, and this shit is absolutely fire. Like, so I listened. I was in anticipation, but I was somewhat skeptical approaching this album because after I heard the singles and after I heard his concept and idea behind this album, I was interested to see what kind of artist he was prior to this. And he was kind of regular. He wasn't bad, but he was just regular, just a regular rapper.
Right.
So, but this project was a pleasant surprise. It has, I don't have it up in my face right now, but it has 14 songs on it. My favorite tracks on it are the title track Soul Glow, Color Me, and Elevate. Soul Glow is like on some like this shit hard, like some Eazy-E, like some Ice Cube shit, like the beat hard, like the shit crazy. And then like the hook is just it's just a chant, just let your soul glow, nigga. And it's just, oh man, I wrote to that shit.
All right.
I wrote to that album today, and when that song came on, like I was kind of chilling, and that shit came on and the beat hit. And then the nigga hit this, let your soul glow, nigga. Oh my God. I hit like 40th gear. I hit a 40th gear out there, man. That shit is so, oh man. Yeah, it is. So it's a really introspective album. It's kind of, I kind of feel like it's on the emo side, if I'm correct in referring to it as such. Like it's definitely a really emotional album. It's not I wouldn't say it's any upbeat songs on there. There are songs about relationships, of course, from his perspective. But yeah, it's definitely got some trunk bangers, but it's like dark trunk bangers. So I definitely recommend this album. He's got a visual on YouTube also. It's like 10 and a half minutes long. And it's like just showing where he's from, and it's really interesting. It's kind of abstracty a little bit, but yeah, I really recommend this project, man. I actually enjoyed this more. I guess I was kind of biased because I was anticipating this joint, but I enjoyed this more than the Chika project. So yeah,
I was going to ask you which one would you recommend listening to first, and then you just answered that.
Well, I would say listen to Chika first because it's less songs.
Okay.
And yeah, I think the Uno Hype hits harder, so I'd finish off with Uno Hype.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sure neither one of you have heard those albums.
Have not.
I'm gonna listen to it tonight. No, I'm lying. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to it probably tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm listening to it probably tomorrow.
Yeah,
as I'm commuting, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
All right, well,
the only joint I heard this weekend, shout out to Pismo and Marcus D. I heard their joint. You know what I mean? But outside of that, yeah, I haven't listened to a whole lot of music this weekend.
I did listen to that project.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I might just if I get a workout in tonight, I might throw it on in the background.
Oh man, put Soul Glow on first, man. You'll throw your weights through the ceiling, dog.
I bet.
I promise you will, man.
I bet. Right.
Oh, hold up. Before I get into
see you rapping
Snowfall, I'm repping.
Yeah, son.
This is the good. For those that don't know, this is one of our friends, Larry. I forgot his last name, but
Lawrence Atoigui.
There you go.
Yeah,
I won't try that.
I wasn't even gonna try that, but go ahead.
Atoigui, not that hard.
Atoigui, okay.
Boom, there it is.
Yeah, real good homie from back in the day. Real dope artist. He's got a collab with the good champion. And he actually has his own portion. I don't know how to refer to it of Sesame Street. Like he has his own. When you look at the label for a Sesame Street shit, it says Sesame something else. So he's fucking awesome. Larry is fucking awesome. So
yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to him, man. We were on we caught up with him last weekend. I think that same day that you reached out asking for his info. And yeah, man, we were just catching up for like 4 hours, dude. Yeah, that's the homie, man.
Yeah, man.
Natural.
Yeah, you know your father now too, man. Got a little girl.
Oh, what?
Yeah, man. Yep.
Okay.
Part of the brotherhood of fatherhood. You know what I mean? Yeah. In the comments, man, let us know what y'all been listening to. You know what I mean? Definitely. I know it's a lot of music out there. I'm sure we missing something. But
right.
It also just came through. One of the GOATs just won his Grammy.
Oh,
for King's Disease.
That's what's up. That's his first Grammy too, right?
First Grammy, dog.
That's crazy.
Damn time.
I don't know. It's crazy, but at the same time, it's a perfect ending to. Well, I won't say ending because the man ain't done. You know what I mean? But to be as old as he is to win a Grammy, that's saying something. So,
especially in hip hop, because definitely you when you hit a certain age in hip hop, you start to get written off. So
pretty much,
it's dope to see him maintain his relevance and stay superior with the pen. You know what I mean? He forever one of the greatest, and I think he definitely got regardless to how many Grammys he got. I think most people can safely say that he got like arguably the greatest album in hip hop history, and it ain't too many people who can kind of share that crown with him. You know what I mean? It's a very short list of people who will be up there. So congrats to Nas. But definitely gonna watch the rest of the Grammys after the show. You know what I mean? After the show, for those of you watching.
Yeah. I'm not, but y'all go ahead.
Right.
My part's already done. Shit. Nas got a Grammy. I don't need to watch no more.
Right. That's all I need to hear.
Right. Yeah.
But so on Snowfall.
Yes. Let's get that queued up. Man.
So
Ricky Ross.
This week's episode was a slower one. Well, no, this week's episode was not a slower one.
I was about to say.
I feel like what's going on in this season is they're focusing a lot on the collateral damage, because you got the past episode you had what is to be understood as Manboy's niece. You got Wanda. Who else was collateral damage? Like you've got the people who own the store that Franklin finessed out of their store. So it's like it's showing the collateral damage of and then you got Oso's family who suffered behind what Oso is doing. So they're focusing a lot on this, and like I said, this last episode, poor Wanda. All Wanda trying to do is get high. And now all of a sudden, Wanda shot up in the street. This shit is like this season is crazy, man. I don't know. I like they're not funneling it in yet to really let you know what is about to happen, because it's just a clusterfuck. Like shit's going bad. Like you got Scully after Franklin and Leon. Now you're going to have Manboy after Leon, and who knows how that's going to end up between Franklin and Leon. Like, yo, this shit is crazy, man. But yes, they're setting up some puzzle pieces for something really outrageous. I feel, man. Well, what'd you think about the episode, Stan?
Oh yeah, man, it was great. Shout out to Leon for having arguably the best afro on television. You know what I'm saying? He might be taking some L's in other ways, but he's definitely winning the best afro wig, arguably in history on television. So shout out to him, salute to him. Yeah, man, no, it's definitely. I love the fact that they are showing the collateral damage. It's easy to get lost in these shows and kind of focus on the money and focus on the glitz and all of that. And so I love shows and films that show you, give you give you the full scope. You know what I mean? Like, to help you understand that, okay, yes, there is a lot of money involved in this, right? But now look over here at his pops. His pops is trying to do good work. But because people are trying to get at Franklin, because they're trying to get at him, they're going to try to go through his pops and potentially damage the good work his father's doing to ultimately get to him. You know what I mean? So it's just so much. There's so many different people who are directly and indirectly affected. And then, of course, y'all already know y'all watching 3 the Odd Way, so we give a damn about a spoiler. You know, if you see it in the title, you know we're going to spoil some shit. So, of course, the biggest collateral damage, or some of the biggest collateral damage I think we've seen in the show, of course, are the babies. You know what I mean? The kids who get killed. Yeah. And now we've seen a few. I mean, we've seen 3 kids this season. At least been or no, one this season, but 2 are missing right now. When they were missing, and now they're with the sister or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just I mean, they technically are orphans, so they did take the L's too. And so yeah, man, it's heavy. It's heavy to see, and but they do a great job. You know, I'm sure you're going to jump into the video you seen too, Sherm. But Cash, what did you think?
So I haven't seen this last episode. Yeah, man, I ain't seen it. I ain't gonna sit up here and try to front like, oh no, it was good. No, I ain't see that shit. But I'm gonna keep it all the way real. But I do find that clip that was sent to our text thread kind of interesting. I want to know how y'all felt about that.
I mean, Sharon, go ahead. You sent it first.
So I didn't feel no kind of way about it. When I heard the way this dude talks, he sounds like the disgruntled ex-dope man who wants his just dues. He wants his propers for being the dope man that he was and having the quote unquote accolade that he has for introducing crack into the game. So he's just really he's just out here butthurt because ain't nobody saying, yeah, we had Rick Ross sitting right here beside us and this is an accurate depiction. Like, first of all, he called it a fairy tale. So he was on first of all, he was on a podcast with Lord Jamar and Godfrey.
And Rod Digger.
That was Rod Digger. Okay, I was wondering who that was.
Yeah, Godfrey and Rod Digger, yep.
So 3 people who I have respect for. I cannot say that I respect everything that they do, but I have respect for them in their crafts. Godfrey is a comedian. I think he's pretty decent. And of course, I love Brand Nubian and Rod Digger. I wasn't really paying much attention to what she had to say. I
like Brand Nubian too, but fuck Lord Jamar. But go ahead.
They are like, when it comes to this shit, they are not the authorities on anything. So this is a bunch of bullshit, man. It was just Rick Ross he had a microphone and somebody was gonna give him a platform to talk. So he's just gonna keep jumping at you, like, whatever to him, man. Whatever for him.
Go ahead, Stan.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like, it's one of those things. It's clearly, I mean, the lead character is, I mean, it's loosely based off your story, yes, but it's super loose. They're not even using your name. So, I mean, that kind of lets you know out the gate, like, what it's going to be. In terms of, like, the deal that was offered, there was a situation where apparently You know, they were going to pay like the writers and other people who worked on the show a couple mil, where he was going to walk away with 600,000.
Yeah.
And he took issue with that. And I get that, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you're looking at it like, but it's my story.
Yeah.
Right. However, you know what I mean? You got like, if this particular writer is one of the best in the game, I don't know who it was because he didn't say who it was. But if he's a top writer in the industry, and he ultimately is going to have to take what you do and make it work for television, and it's not necessarily, you know, like, is it going to be a movie or is it going to be a show that goes over 10 seasons? I mean, yeah, he might need a slightly bigger bag than yours. And let's just keep it a buck. You are able to come out of prison and ultimately sell the story of how of what you did in the community, and how many people you affected, you know what I mean, and lives were lost, and still be able to capitalize off of that after making millions doing what you did. So I mean, yeah, he paid his debt to society, and that's cool. But the fact that you were still able to come out and monetize that story and all the pain, I mean, you know, keep it a buck. Like some of the victims and other people who like, you know, lives were crushed because of that. I mean, they ain't getting nothing. Their stories is part of your story, right? So I mean, we can go at that a bunch of different ways to keep it a million. So the fact that you were going to get over $500,000 for a story where you were pretty much, you know, just talking about like what you did to hurt your community during that time. I mean, dog, like, you know, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Now you want a pat on the back for that shit or something?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
What you think? Cash about the bus. What you think, man?
I see his point. I'm sorry, I do. It's his story. Like I could, if it's your story, I think you should have a bigger insight on, even though it's loosely done based off of his life, I still think you should have a bigger pot on telling that story or getting that story out. I can understand your side of it. I can understand y'all saying that, well, you know what he did and then how that affected all these people and that he sounds a little bit bitter. But why not be bitter? You know what I mean? This is my opinion. Y'all know me. It's my opinion. I think they could have gave him a little bit more than what they were offering. And worst thing you do, and they do this trick all the time, even in corporate America, even in your standard jobs, they tell you don't discuss salaries with other employees.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because somebody guarantee you is getting fucked over. You know what I mean? And they don't want the person, especially the one that's putting in most of the work, to find out, oh, I'm putting in 2 times as much work as, you know, Bobby over there, but Bobby making twice as much as I'm making. They don't really want people to know that. So from his perspective on that, I get it. You know what I mean? They could have gave him more. Is it enough for him to walk away? At the end of the day, it really don't matter because they was going to shoot the show anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me interject real quick, Cash. So something to keep in mind though, when he was in talks with them, and again, I definitely agree with the whole, like, you know, with them like just trying to run with his story without him. You know what I mean? I wholeheartedly agree with that part. But like, consider this. Originally, when they were pitching it for a movie, right? So he was about to get 600,000 for his story, right? For a movie. Now, understand, we know already based on what that story, like what type of movie that would have been. Number one, that ain't going to be $1 billion movie. It's not even going to be a movie that does like, it's probably 200 mil. Like that movie
in the black community, it would have sold.
Yeah, but even still, like, it ain't
not talking Marvel. Nah.
Not even Marvel. Like, I don't even, like, it wasn't even going to do, depending on who did it, it wasn't even going to do Straight Outta Compton numbers. You know what I mean? Because Straight Outta Compton broke records, right? So you're telling a story that largely most people aren't as familiar with. So it might have been popular, but realistically, let's say that the budget for the film is like low end 50 mil to like $200 million. And like, and depending on what actors you got, they like, maybe they're pulling in $1 million and this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, if you get more than $500,000 and you're one of like 75 to 100 people working on that, like, understand that that's still
a lot
of money.
No, I get it.
In the film industry,
right?
Considering you're not starring
That's
in the
true.
film. You know what I mean?
True. And I'm okay with that.
All. Yeah.
But we're talking Freeway Rick Ross, who's seen way more money than that.
So, and I think that's part of it. Like that ain't no money to him, but I mean, but it's some money to him nowadays.
So the hustler side, the hustler side never died. You feel me? And when you know somebody is getting paid twice as much as you getting paid, or close to 3 times as much as you getting paid to tell your story, you're gonna feel some kind of way. I do feel like the whack shit was him talking about the British actors.
Yeah. I'm so tired.
That shit was whack.
That was super corny.
Yo, I'm so tired of people in that joint.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Y'all can't find black people. Why can't they find somebody from California to play that role?
Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, why are they trying to cause this separation between people that look exactly alike just because you're from a different place? Like, this is
they even try to debate on what type of racism they face.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I just see that. I was like,
it's overseas racism. Like, what
I'm like, right. We know it's different because they're at a different place, but how do you know what it is? Because you never lived through it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you haven't experienced it yourself, what makes you think you have a right to speak on it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I felt some kind of way about that. I felt some kind of way about that because acting is an art form. And if people take it seriously enough and they're good at what they do, then why are you upset about the fact that they're from England? You know what I mean? And they're doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like if they take it more serious than we do, because let's keep it real. This country don't take we are entitled. We think because we're here and it's an American story, therefore we got to find an American actor to play that role. If a dude can do the accents and land the lines better, and he just so happened to be from London, it is what it is. Like that part was whack to me, man.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning it on the last show. This is the exact same point, dude. Like at the end of the day, and they were trying to make it seem like there's this whole movement of folks trying to make that happen. And you know, while I see what they're saying, there's plenty of films still where like the leads are American. Right, I just feel like I think for these bigger films that they're referring to, I see what they're trying to say, but I think it has probably less to do with some agenda and more to do with some of these actors that's getting those roles. These are world-class folks. Like these ain't. It'd be different if like the Bama's take the role and they trash, but when you see like bro, I did not know homeboy who played Malcolm X. In
One Night in Miami.
I had no idea he was British, bro.
Yeah,
and I seen him in something else where he played Obama.
And that's the part that kills me. Like, part of us wants to give him credit. Oh, that was a great role, but then you turn your nose up when you find out that they're from the UK. Are they a good actor, a good actress, or not?
Right?
Did they deliver it or not?
Right, and there's plenty of examples of American artists doing the same thing in British films. Robert Downey Jr. For the Sherlock Holmes joint, Brad Pitt in what's the joint? Snatch.
And don't get me started on anything involving Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro.
Don't get me started on that.
Come on now. What's my man? Forrest Whitaker. You know what I mean? Where he played in the one joint. That as well. I was talking about Last King of Scotland.
Last King of Scotland is definitely a great example of that.
And he won an award for that joint.
And that shit crazy. Nobody had a problem with that though.
No one had a problem.
I did.
He had a problem with a different level though.
Right. But Cash, man, it's on you, man.
All right, man. We're gonna keep today's short and to the point so we can get up out of here. All right. So first off, I want to give a shout out to the family of Marvelous Marvin Hagler, who passed away yesterday. The story behind why he passed away, we're not going to touch into that. Okay, it's a little bit controversial, and if you really want to know what I'm talking about, look it up. All right, but Marvelous Marvin Hagler was once the fighter of the decade in the 80s. He was the 4th greatest middleweight of all time. He was knocked down only once in his career. And we're talking about a guy who fought 67 fights, only knocked down one time. You know what I mean? So that's greatness in itself. But imagine if you were that guy that can say, yeah, I knocked him down. I was the only one that knocked him down.
The only.
The only one that knocked him down. You know what I mean? His final record was 62-3-2 with 52 knockouts. Most notable loss was a decision against Sugar Ray Leonard. And
PG boy.
Yeah, Sugar Ray. It was controversial. Still talked about to this day. Did Sugar Ray actually win that fight? Because what his technique was, he was flurrying at the end of the rounds to give the appearance that he was dominating the round. You know what I mean? Which is a technique that you still see used in today's boxing. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, not to move away from Marvelous Marvin Hagler, is these guys came up in the golden age of boxing. You know what I mean? When you talk about boxing and the trilogy between, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hitman Hearns, Roberto Duran, all these names that come up in the mix of it was when boxing was at its peak. And those were middleweights at the time, and that's before we even started talking about the heavyweight division. So when heavyweight division kind of died off after the Muhammad Ali era, then the middleweight division stepped up and took over the reins of boxing, and you had the names that I just listed. You know what I mean? On top of a number of other names. I can talk about the Julio Cesar Chavez's. I can talk about the lighter fighters like Macho Camacho and things like that. But Marvelous Marvin Hagler was one of the most respected, most polished boxers of a whole decade. You know what I mean? So rest in peace to Marvelous Marvin. I can't, every time I try to do the whole nickname thing, rest in peace to Marvin Hagler. Died at 66. It would be a great miss, man. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about the NBA and how it's gotten off to its second half. The All-Star game is over. It started off the next part of the season with Sherm's Wizards. Did you enjoy Did you enjoy the game, Sherm? The Wizards first opened up the game against, I think, Orlando. Oh, no, was it Orlando or was it Milwaukee?
No, that was Memphis. With you talking about John Morant, right?
Yeah, Memphis. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So the Wizards are amazing. They're fucking amazing. They suck worse than I've ever seen any team suck. They are so. Of course, I'm hard on the Wizards, and I've loved the Wizards since Bernard King and the Bullets. Like I love my home teams. And the past few years, especially since, what's the coach's name?
Scott Brooks.
Scott Brooks, especially since Scott Brooks has been here, we have been fucking trash.
Dog. I predicted that.
Did you? John Morant was doing, man, he was out there doing Harlem Globetrotter shit.
Whatever he want.
Bruh.
Whatever he want.
And we have Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, two of the most efficient scorers in basketball right now. And we had a lead. We were down by 15 or maybe 19 at one point, came back, took the lead, and then lost the lead on turnovers. Poor shot. Oh my God, man. I'm telling you. Oh.
Listen, I don't know why people expect a guy who had Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook all on the same team. I don't know why people expect somebody who had all that much talent and still couldn't get it done to come to Washington and think he was going to get it done here. Like I've been arguing that for a long time. Like Scott Brooks is not. Anytime you have him on the sideline, you're not trying to win games.
No, he's not.
His rotation is always off. He has no idea what he's doing with his staff. He has no idea when to call a timeout, when to regroup.
Do you notice that when something happens, like when you can see something going on in the game, like there may be a lapse in some in some side on the defense, or there may be a player that's scoring more than they need to be scoring. Like, you can see what needs to be done, but Scott Brooks will do the exact opposite of what any knowledgeable basketball fan would choose to do. Like, oh my God.
Of course. And he's the reason why him being here. Now, you do know that he was brought here with the hopes that
KD was going to come.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But KD is smarter than that. You know, if he can get it done in Oklahoma, why must he want to get it done here? It's just common sense to me. So don't expect much from him, bro. I don't know why. I mean, you better than me because I don't fuck with him at all.
I want him and Westbrook to go away, dog.
Yeah, Scott Brooks is not going to be. And then, honestly, they need to go ahead and free my man Bradley Beal. They wasting his time, man. They wasting his time, and
killing Bradley Beal, man.
Yeah, they wasting his time.
Averaging 30 points a game,
he leads the league.
Can't get nobody else to show up.
When you lead the league in scoring, and your team is in the bottom third of the Eastern Conference, you got to go. You got to go. But listen, bigger news in the NBA.
Joel Embiid too, though.
That's what I was about to hit too. Joel Embiid is now out for a couple of weeks, man, with a knee issue. Why that's significant is because he was playing MVP basketball and the number one team in the East. So this kind of opens the door, for the Brooklyn Nets, the Brooklyn Nets to come in and maybe take over the number one position, and anybody else, including my Miami Heat, who are on the road right now. I told y'all, man. Miami is not. They may have Jimmy, but if Jimmy was playing most of the season, Jimmy could be MVP, man. I'm trying to tell you. We hot right now. So we're now up to number 4 in the Eastern Conference, and
that's not.
I think we're on. Nah, dog. Come on now. We only 2 games out. We 2 or 3 games out from number 3, and which is Milwaukee, and we already own them. You know what I mean? Since the playoffs of last year. So if Philadelphia slides and keeps sliding, Miami moves up, and it's gonna get real interesting.
Philly ain't doing nothing now, man.
It's gonna get real interesting. Speaking of Miami, lastly, Miles Leonard is suspended by the NBA for I want to say 2 weeks. I think he's going to miss 7 games. Not that he was playing anyway. He had a shoulder injury, which he's done for the season with. But he's suspended for 2 weeks, and he's charged $50,000 for saying a anti-Semitic word while playing a video game.
It's the worst. Like, you remember, he's the same dude that when he was kneeling, he was standing his 7-foot dumbass up. Like, he's the worst, man.
Yeah, like I want him gone.
I really want him gone. I hope he's done. I hope he's done, man.
I want him gone. But yeah, he's been suspended. Miami's owned by Mickey Arison, who happens to be Jewish. You talk about the dumbest shit ever. The commissioner of the league, Adam Silver, happens to be Jewish. So you dumbass. But yeah, he's suspended. And more to come on that because the NBA suspending him, but Miami still could take even further steps and extend that even longer. So
get rid of the clown, man.
You might as well. You know what I mean? Might as well. All over video game. All right. And speaking of saying the dumbest shit out there, Matt Rowan, we're going to finish with this, and then I'm going to pass it substantial. Matt Rowan, 44-year-old Oklahoma high school announcer, during a game between Norman High School and Midwest City High School, his mic was not off. So he's watching them kneel, and he says, "Are they kneeling?" And then at some point calls them effing N-words. He said it, and that went viral, as you can imagine, calling them effing niggas.
Bro,
you know what I
he
mean?
turned him off easy though. He said a lot. Him and his man said a lot of shit.
Oh yeah. He said, I hope they get that.
They was dropping verses in the booth.
Yeah, like he was tight. You know what I mean? Because they were kneeling, and I thought you would think that we're beyond that, but obviously we're not. So he got caught saying it. But the worst part is, if it can't get any worse, the worst part is his excuse for why he did it was because he is. And I'm sorry. Yeah. After I heard this, I said, dog, I heard it all. I'm done. I thought I would never hear this excuse ever used again. My man said his reason for doing it is he blamed the fact that he's type 1 diabetic and his blood sugar was low.
My sugar.
His sugar is low. So,
oh my God.
In order to keep his racism in check, my man need a Snickers. You know what I mean? And that's the part that I'm like, I've heard it. Oh man,
you're hungry.
but as opposed to you're not yourself when you're hungry,
you're
yourself when you're hungry.
He said my blood sugar was low, and that's the reason why he was dropping N-bombs left and right. Man, that goes on the list of the dumbest shit I've heard in a very, very long time. You know what I mean? But it's par for the course, man. It really is. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on in sports. Real quick note, something I couldn't talk about right now because it was going on as we were speaking is the March Madness Selection Sunday was happening as we spoke. As the show was starting. So I didn't have time to talk about those brackets for those that still are going to do a bracket this year. We can get into that next week. When college basketball, March Madness really gets kicked off. So that's it for me. I hope y'all have a good one. Substantial, it's on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Hey, so shout out to everyone watching. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to Ice Killer in the comments and stuff, and everyone else. So yeah, man, this week in movies and TV, both recommendations that I have, both things that I checked out are both documentaries. One's a docu-series and the other one is a documentary. Yeah, so the first one is Hip Hop Uncovered. Hip Hop Uncovered is excellent. Like the reason, I mean, I love it for a lot of different reasons, but one of the things that made it so dope to see, a lot of times in my travels, man, I sometimes will talk to people about how, hip hop and people sometimes like look at my music or other people who I work with who are like positive artists and they say things like, like, yeah, I don't understand why we got to have this, like people talking about this or doing that and like trying to be tough guys and stuff in music. And I always got to say, and I just said this in a presentation I did with Amazon, I was like, yo, you cannot separate hip hop from the streets. You cannot separate from gang culture. That is not something you can do, because if it wasn't for gang culture in the streets, you would not have hip hop, right? So and this docu-series is an excellent example of exactly what I've said time and time again, without even giving you the whole history of hip hop. It just gives you the history of, I love the fact that they call them kingmakers, because that's exactly what they are. Some of the biggest, acts that we've seen in hip hop have like come through, like, and been mentored by a lot of the different people they talk to, like Deb, Haitian Jack, Trick, Bimmy, and Big U on the West Coast. These people have mentored some of your favorite artists, whether we're talking about like really, really street artists, or even if we're talking about like people who just like, look street, but just kind of made, friendly hip hop that could virtually be played anywhere, right? And your socially conscious artists too. So like, it just goes to show you that, man, like hip hop story and these different things that people have experienced, when given opportunity, when given room to grow, right? Like what they can do for their lives, and more importantly, what they can do for their communities too. You know, it was really, really powerful to see. I think the one exception would be Haitian Jack a little bit, because Haitian Jack, I feel like
he's still
he might still be out here.
he's still
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely
like
not
do what for the community, get the bag, right? But yeah, man. But it's definitely an excellent watch for those of you who are not just lovers of hip hop music, but more importantly, the history is important to you. Like, you know, I own a ridiculous amount of like films, or have seen a bunch of films that just kind of document like our story, and books as well. And I highly recommend that if you're a history buff when it comes to hip hop, or history buff in general, I highly recommend that you check out Hip Hop Uncovered. It's on FX. It's also on Hulu as well. So yeah, fellas, what did y'all think?
Man, it's gonna be a lot of people upset after they see these series, man. There's gonna be a lot of people that believe the hype and didn't know the background behind it. We've had plenty of conversations before, so we've spoken about what it is we know and what it is that people want to believe versus what it is that's reality. So it's going to hurt a lot of feelings, man. That's all. It's going to hurt a lot of feelings, but in a good way. And I'm happy that they came out with it, and I'm happy that they're talking about the back stories of what's going on. Because full exposure, I think, is going to force people to not emulate some of the things that we hear in the music, and hopefully realize that the person that's saying it is not necessarily the person. So I'm trying not to get. I'm really trying not to.
You just drag Lord Jamar. I mean, you might as well keep going.
Hey, well, yeah. You know what I mean? Fuck that dude. But anyway, so I'm loving it, and I hope they do more of it, man. That's what I get from it.
For sure. Sherm, you dragging me for saying mentored?
No, it's not a drag. No, it's not a drag at all. It's funny because you said mentored. These jokers ain't mentor shit.
Nah.
Like, I like the way you dressed it up real nice. Like they were the financial backing to.
They were extortions.
Dog, these Bammers were the dopiest of dope folk, man. So you could, they did mentor. They had some mentoring qualities. But what, to me, in my opinion, my humble opinion, what they were is so if you didn't want to go through if you didn't want to go get destroyed by a white label, and you didn't want to deal with all of that, but you still, of course, you need the capital to get you in the game. Who would have the capital that looks like us back in those days, not working a regular 9 to 5? So that's where they got their capital from. Like when they showed the pictures of these dudes and who these pictures were, like you look at a lot of these albums and you think that a lot of these dudes is just like, oh yeah, we like Eric B and Rakim. We just hang around and we his posse. Yeah, nah. Oh yeah, we were LL Cool J. We LL Cool J posse. Yeah, nah. These was all like when they started pointing out the people in the Eric B and Rakim picture, dog, they was nothing but heavy hitters. So yeah, they did mentor. Like I said, it's not a drag. It was just funny that you chose that word to use for those particular individuals.
Yeah. Because I think absolutely. They backed certain people. They also kept certain people safe when they came to when you traveled to certain places. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely a major part. But then part of it too, is also kind of like for some heads who come in this game and want to still like be the street dudes and trying to live a certain life. And they deal with these folks who come from that, and they just like, yeah, nah, you don't need to be doing all that. You need to be focused on this music. And like, I think for people like that, a lot of folks who come into this business, and when you think about how many, like the top way that most rappers lose their life, in this particular biz it's murder, right? Like most rappers, when they die, especially if they die prematurely, they're murdered. And it's largely because a lot of times people are trying to have one foot in, one foot out, you know what I mean? Like trying to be in this music game, but then also still trying to be out in the streets. And so, you know, I mean, when he talks about when he talk about Pop Smoke and how Pop Smoke was out there, but didn't necessarily like reach out to certain folks, right? Like the type of folks that, like, if things are going down, might be
you better get clearance.
Yeah. Hey, when Trick was young, I remember that Rick Ross situation, because I remember that popping up where the Bama basically was like, Detroit's a no-fly zone. Like, and it's wild, man. Like when I did my show in 2019 out there, now keep in mind this is a con, but one of the things that made Detroit very different than a lot of other places I've been was they made it real clear, like there is no hip-hop show going on at this convention or anywhere in town if at least not one Detroit artist is on the bill as well. And keep in mind, there was a lot of acts on that bill, and sure enough, they made sure. It's funny, I talked to him today, shout out to Mark Cooper, they made sure he was on the bill and stuff like that. So they trying to look after their own, because people come through these areas all the time. I'm guilty of it, and do shows, and
I respect that though.
Yeah, and not necessarily pay homage to the folks who putting in that legwork on the ground out there.
I really respect that.
Got to. Yeah. But definitely highly recommend everyone checking this out. They have really, and it's not so much about just who they worked with, it's their stories. Like Deb, oh my god, like all of them, but Deb, dog, talk about my heart hurting for somebody, bro. Deb deserves all the flowers. I gotta make sure I hit Mecca up too, because Mecca know all of these rhymes. Like he literally know all of them. He put up a picture for Deb because her birthday was the other day. But I'm gonna hit him personally just to be like, hey man, tell her on my behalf that she deserves every flower for the rest of her life to survive what she's been through and still be out here looking after folks.
Childhood, man.
From her childhood to now, still. And so salute to her. You know what I mean?
This is type of stuff that needs their own. We need our own show.
Yeah, man.
To talk about that. That's
man.
That could be a one-off.
Right. Yeah. But definitely a great show. I'm gonna jump into this last joint, try to be quick about it, because we do got to get ready to go. But man, my last recommendation is something that actually came out. It came out 2 months ago, but I just happened to discover it on some fluke for real. Like it just happened to pop up on my feed on YouTube. And it's called Inside the Mind of Favela Funk. Listen, this is a free documentary that you can watch on YouTube whenever you want. It's about an hour long. I highly recommend everybody check it out. If you have no idea what it's about, Inside the Mind of Favela Funk is a documentary about love and relationships in the world of an extremely popular favela funk music from Rio de Janeiro's deprived neighborhoods. The documentary shows the perspective of the favela youth and aims to find the relation between the favela funk lyrics and their personal daily love lives, dominated by lawless subculture. Inside the Mind of Favela Funk gives an insight in the current Brazilian underground music and corresponding values, but it also shows a search for faith, hope, and love. When I tell you, man, I can't recommend this joint enough. And it's like working in education for as long as I did, it reminds me a lot of the young people who I worked with, and like the relationship struggles that they would have, and some of the inappropriate things that I felt like, the youngest was involved in. Of course, I wasn't trying to judge them because I was doing half, if not more, you know what I'm saying, when I was their age. And I'm talking about from the middle school youngins all the way up to high school. So, but it's a hard watch because of the ages of some of the folks, and that they really just they try to find their way, and their environment's their environment, and they just doing what they can to survive. But the music, man, the music is like super raunchy, like super raunchy, right? Like I told Sherm before we went live, I was like, bro, it's like It's like what's the joint called? The way do you see my? Just imagine that. You know what I'm saying? And that level of content or that level of raunchiness in like all of the music. And that's really what that music is. But the beat, because of the Brazilian rhythms and like how they're chopping these samples and like just think of like Brazilian rhythms meets like these grimy loops, right? With like almost like a house feel with the repetitive whatever, but like yeah, and then their energy is like when you don't know the words, you're just like, I can't front this kind of go. And then you read the subtitles, you're like, oh, I can't play this around none of the babies, even though no one knows what they're saying. Once you read the screen, you're forever tainted, bro. Like,
and then you can't repeat none. Even if you recognize the words, you can't repeat the words because, like, oh, do you know what you just said,
bruh? Yeah, like, yo, when we finish up, I'm gonna show y'all a clip from the joint off air. But yeah, man, it's an excellent film. I highly recommend everybody check it out just to kind of see what's happening in other parts of the world and see how it correlates to what like our young people here going through. And also, man, like, you know, it's the whole idea. Like, people, we complain all the time how bad we got it. Sometimes people are always like, man, you don't understand, you know, life's so hard, blah blah blah. And just to see what conditions other people are living in, and to see their resilience in the midst of it. Like one girl where she talks about loss and like death and how unfazed she is by seeing someone killed. Like, she's like, I mean, that's just kind of how it is around here, yo. Like, it's, you know, it's Tuesday, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the way it's crazy. She's 17, but she just speak about it like it's, I don't want to say like it's nothing. Like, you can tell like it bothers her, but it's just like, yo, what are you gonna do? It's kind of what it is here. So, you know, I don't live anywhere else. I live here. So, dog, like, it's heavy. It's super heavy, but I definitely recommend folks check it out. You know what I mean? Again, that's Inside the Mind of Favela Funk. And on that note, you know what I mean? Get ready to wrap it up, B. How do I?
Oh shit! Is we doing this? Let me hold up. Me.
Come on, Cash.
Me.
We had. Come on, Cash. I'm setting it up for you.
Red X on this shit.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, Cash.
I'm just about to singing no more, man.
Oh, you done? Okay. All right,
man. I'm gonna be spontaneous with mine. I'm gonna wait for y'all to say some shit. I'm gonna bust out. Ooh yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Jiggity, CHIKA'S, so stay. Yeah, son. Boy.
Oh,
we the always
This is sad.
But in the comments, man, we hope y'all enjoyed the show. Shout out to Stephanie Gale. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo, we know the intro say that we were going to do the live once a month, but we've been talking and we're just like, hey, man, look, we here. You know what I'm saying? It's like we ain't got to drive to meet up, you know, like, and we're doing this joint every Sunday recording. We just figured, why not bring it to y'all live? You know what I'm saying? And was it what Steph say? Steph says, and I have good red wine in my system. You know what I'm saying?
Make sure you tune in next week, Steph. I challenge you to a singing duel.
Look, you know what I'm saying? Look, Steph, we can make Steph a guest on this joint. You know what I'm saying?
Not for that. We're not for that.
Not for a sing-off. Why not?
Not for that.
It'd be good entertainment. You know what I'm saying? As you tried, brother. You came, you saw, you did the
Cash voice, man. Nobody want to hear that. Yeah.
Hey, he hating on. Hey, Cash, we used to get it, man. Look, Cash,
you gotta let him know. I used to bust these melodies, bro. Shit,
little harmonies. You know what I'm saying? Our the tenor baritone action. You know what I'm saying? We was honest chords, Sherm. Honest chords. Hating ass hater. Look, Steph said, challenge accepted. I will roast you.
Hey, bring it.
Oh, there you go. Put it up on the screen so it is documented forever.
That
I got a G on Steph.
Fuck you, Sherm.
I got a whole G on stuff. I don't even have $1,000.
Damn. This is what we doing? Damn.
Let me go ahead and put up my child's life savings. See what I can make happen with this.
He said easy money. Damn, I feel low. Damn.
Yeah. But yo, we're out of here, folks, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hope y'all had a great time with us. Always have a great time with y'all. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Just a heads up, last I checked, and I'm pretty sure y'all saw the same, fellas, we are only 8 subscribers away from hitting 100 subscribers, so let's make that happen.
Yes, sir.
If you haven't checked out our Patreon yet, please go ahead and sign up for that. We are trying to add one additional piece of merchandise in there that you can get once you have been a patron for at least 3 months. But as you stay on 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12, you eventually get more and more merchandise. And we're looking for feedback from y'all, things that y'all want to see us talk about, more reaction videos and all of that good stuff. Shout out to all of y'all who checked out the Biggie video that we did. That is one of our top streaming videos so far. So shout out to y'all for making that happen.
Yes,
but
sir.
On that note, we gotta get out of here, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what happened to peace?
Peace.
Peace.